Okay. Now we just push the button and we're trying to start the stream. I think we can see it
Yeah, I'm sure a couple people are, but it's all right.
on Facebook. Let me know if you can see it on Facebook. Hey, everybody on Facebook. We're having some technical difficulties as always, but we've got Dan Morgan Lee on with us. We've got our room full of people in here, our in-store studio audience. We've got Dan. And we've got us in the room, and I think we're going to give this a try.
Yes, let's go for it. Let's go for it. So, welcome, Dan. Can you hear us?
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
I can hear you fine.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. Good.
So we're all sipping on a little Grenache Rosé, Dan, from 2020. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. The Grenache style that we like here at the winery is a very dry, pale color. But it's a nice wine that tradition, warm weather. It's supposed to be very refreshing. So that to me means it has to have good acidity. It has to have some juiciness to it, and that's the style that we go for. There's to me, we've made a rosé from Pinot Noir and from some other fruit, but Grenache has this kind of interesting spiciness and a little bit of more energy than those ones do. So I particularly really like rosés of Grenache. I think that hits the sweet spot as far as Grenaches are concerned.
There you go. Okay, I'm still getting myself situated here.
Did you hear that?
We did good.
Everybody's
Staring at their glasses of Syrah or of Grenache rosé and sniffing appreciatively.
And Dan, do you make it every year?
Yes, we do. And I want to say there's you have to be on the outlook for rosés that are called Saguenay. Okay, the Saguenay juice, which means you pick a fruit and make red wine for it. Make red wine out of it. So it's usually higher sugar, and then you bleed some of the juice off, and you can make rosé that way. But to me, those rosés you'll see a lot of times are a little bit darker. They're in maybe 13.5 to 14.5% alcohol. And to me, that's not rosé. We purposely pick rosé at 21.5, 22 sugar. Keep that crispness, keep the lightness of rosé. So we're purposely picking this rosé just for rosé, and it's not supposed to be red wine ever. So a little different. Keeps it fresh and lively, and that's what we like about it.
Nice. Well, it's delicious. It's a great, like, food rosé, I think. It's, if you had even some spicy, savory bites, I think it would be, like, really, really nice with that. So we kind of decided to do it at the last minute, but I'm glad we did. It just, I think rosés are something that's like all year round now, which I think is great.
Especially in Florida.
That is, and I think rosé with Thanksgiving is just a great match too. So it's all around these days.
Awesome. So, well, thanks for joining us again, Dan. I think we're going to try some white wine now and go and try a little Sauvignon Blanc.
There we go. While we do that. Let's see. I think we've got. While we do that, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know we had you on, 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago.
It was August 2020. One of our virtuals. You were one of our first COVID virtual winery guest. We really appreciated it. You kind of set the standard for all of the other winemakers that we had after.
Yeah, well, yeah, good.
But I think
Well,
we've got a whole new crew of eager Morgan fans. We've got a couple of repeats, but we've got a lot of new folks. So maybe
Yeah.
tell us the story.
Yeah. Well, our story is my wife and I started Morgan. Morgan is my middle name, so that's where the name comes from. We started the winery in 1982 because we wanted to make wine. We wanted to make it for ourselves. I was working for another winery at that point in time, so I wanted to, do something that I could call my own. And so we, it was in the middle of a recession in 1982. People are telling us you're crazy, but we were young, just freshly out of college. We didn't know what a recession was because we didn't have any money. And so it's like, what's a recession? There was nothing, it didn't mean anything to us because we didn't have anything. What we had is just this blind passion to start our own winery, and we said we're going to just do this, no matter what the risks are involved. And so we did that in 1982. We made Chardonnay. We're based down in Monterey County, cool coastal area of California. More specifically, we're in the Santa Lucia Highlands, which is this great hillside situation right off the ocean that is very cool, wonderful soils, wonderful climate for growing. Two grapes in particular, Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, specialized. That's most of our production. What we grow at our vineyard. When we started in 1982, we didn't own the vineyard. We just outsourced, from growers that I had worked with at other wineries and so on. And so we started. We did Chardonnay for the first 2 years. Very lucky, had some great gold medals and awards and stuff that kind of instantaneously put us on the map. We started making the Sauvignon Blanc, which you're tasting right now, in 1984. So that was our second wine. And it came at the request, we had a lot of seafood restaurants in the local area and that we were selling Chardonnay to. And we said, we made another wine. What would you like? And they said Sauvignon Blanc, with seafood houses. We like white wine. And so we said, okay, we'll make that work. So we found some wonderful Sauvignon Blanc down in the Arroyo Seco area of Monterey County. It's not in the Santa Lucia Highlands, but it's the next region south of us. And it's really rocky, gravelly soils that are just really well drained and just a touch warmer than we are in the SLH, but wonderful for Sauvignon Blanc. And so that's where the fruit for this wine comes from the Arroyo Seco. So then we made that for a couple of years, and in 1986 we started making red wines as well. In that case, we started making Pinot Noir, and back then we made a little bit of Cabernet from Carmel Valley. Eventually, we found out that Cabernet didn't sell very well, so we moved on to the Rhone, to Rhone style wines along with the Pinot Noir. So that's kind of our portfolio right now is Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Sauvignon Blanc, and some Rhone blends, plus things like Rosé of Grenache is part of that Rhone program as well.
So, Dan, I had a question from some folks here. So, this wine is sourced out of Arroyo Seco, but where actually is your main facility, your winery located? What part of Monterey? Is it Santa Lucia?
Well, no, we're located. The winery's up in the south end of Salinas, which is the county seat of Monterey County, and it's really the ag town of Monterey. So it's in an industrial area of Salinas. it's not a chateau. It's just a plain metal building, but it has drains and power and all the conveniences the winery needs. And so we make the wine there, and we're kind of spread out. So we have, the vineyards are down in the Highlands. We grow grapes there. We grow about 45% of our needs. We still buy fruit from neighbors and, things like Sauvignon Blanc from Arroyo Seco. We take advantage of the SLH for, Chardonnay and Pinot, but we also take advantage of the great other climates in Monterey County for Sauvignon Blanc, Grenache, and things like that. So, and then the tasting room is located over in Carmel. So we, like a lot of our neighbors, take tasting room over to the touristy area, because it's about 45 minutes from Carmel over to the vineyards. So pretty much everybody has taken their tasting rooms and put it in more of the touristy area of Monterey County.
Well, this is really delicious Sauvignon Blanc. It's very clean, not so grassy, not so. I mean, I think it definitely has a kind of a California style to it. You don't barrel age it, or it has no wood contact.
Yes, there is a little bit of wood contact, and that's what what we winemakers often look to do is we can make good, solid, clean wines, but it gets to a point where we want to make something a little bit more interesting, and so this has about 7% new French oak in it, and about a third of it is barreled in French oak barrels, and 2/3 stays in tank. So we do that just to add a little bit more interest to the wine, to make it kind of go, hey, what is that? The oak also broadens and richens up the flavors a little bit as well. So it's become not a simple Sauvignon Blanc, but it's something that has a little bit more complexity to it, and we do that on purpose.
Yeah, I was wondering the flavors. It's not overly grassy, but it's also not overly tropical. Like I get a lot of Napa Sauvignon Blanc, so it's maybe a little too melon, a little too pineapple. This has got a good balance of like honeydew, maybe not like a super ripe melon, but and a little bit of herbaceousness, but not overwhelming. I know a good Florida wine, definitely a good sipping wine.
And
California wine.
Yeah, and I love that the fact that it's a couple of years old. I mean, it's 2019, which for me, I like really soft whites. I know that's not typically the trend, but it's just really round right now, and it's perfect.
So with we're currently selling 21, and so with a little bit of age, it mellows out a little bit. The fresh is the current vintage, but it's these wines. I mean, they have loads of acidity. They age very well because of that high acid, and you get it with the. It just gets a little bit more complex with some bottle age to it.
It's hitting my sweet spot.
Yes, it's really delicious. We
based on empty glasses, it's hitting a lot of sweet.
Yeah. I just I love Sauvignon Blanc, and we sell a lot of it here at the shop. But it's the New Zealand definitely has put the varietal on the big map, but I like it a little more subtle than that. So Kelly Cortez said, let's do some Sauvignon Blanc. It's here. It's ready to drink. We're like, why not? So anyway, it's really delicious. But now we're going to go on to the heart and soul of what you do, and that's Chardonnay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So are you? You have the Highland Chardonnay. You have the Highland Chardonnay right now.
I think what we're going to do, Dan, is we're going to do the double L 19 Chard.
19
double L.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chardonnay. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Yeah. So start off with the style of Chardonnay from the San Lucie Highlands is a lot of tropical fruit and minerality as well. Especially the double L has more minerality than I think than any other vineyard in the area. Um, it has, a fresh entry. It has the richness that Chardonnay often shows when it's full malolactic Chardonnay like ours is. But then it finishes with what makes the San Lucia Highlands so much different than the rest of California. We have tons of natural acidity because we're so close to the ocean and so cool. In fact, a lot of times we have a Chardonnay vineyard that has plenty of sugar for picking, but sometimes we have to wait for that acid. Sometimes the acid is so high, it's like grapefruit juice, and we actually have to wait and let some of those acids respire a little bit before we pick, so it gets in the balance. So our problem sometimes is too much acid, whereas the rest of California, they have no acid in their Chardonnay. So we're quite a bit different in the Highlands that way.
So this is the double L. This is
Right.
this is the double L, and I do have maps of the double L. Let me pull up a map, because one of the things I love, the new maps on the Santa Lucia growers site. They've got these nice 3D isometric map that kind of shows the proximity of it shows like the proximity of the AVA to the Pacific Ocean and the mountains, and you can kind of see the vineyards going up the mountains, and I can see double L kind of off to the right. I'll flip to a zoom in view.
Yeah.
It's off to the right there on this view. But really close to the coast and really impacted by that ocean breeze.
Yeah. So if you go all the way right, you'll hit the ocean. So we're at the cooler end of the SLH, and the double L is you'll see on there is we're the only organic vineyard in the San Lucie Highlands. So you'll see on the back it says the grapes are from our organic vineyard, and it has our certification, our Monterey County Certified Organics logo on there. That's our organic certification organization, and But besides being organic, we have 8 different clones of Chardonnay on double L. So we have a spice rack to pick and choose, flavors from. So this is indeed a selection. The double L Chardonnay is a selection of our very best lots for that vintage, and it's not just always one area of the vineyard. It's sometimes it's different. But it's always a selection of the best lots for that year go into the double L. So it's a selection process, full malolactic. Touch more, maybe 30% new French oak versus 25% on the Highlands. So because it's bigger fruit, it can take a touch more oak than our other selections. And so it's really the very best that we have to offer from that vintage.
Great nose.
Yeah, it's really complex. Dan's got lots of things going on. It's rich and very round, but also lots of everything seems to be very well integrated and subtle all at the same time.
Yeah.
So double L is this. Where did that name come from? Is that a name that you all had, or?
Yeah. So the double L, we were very fortunate being able to purchase a vineyard property in 1996. And before that, we were just, buying from other growers and stuff. So this was a special day. We called it Double L because we have twin daughters who we call the Double Luck Twins. They're identical twins, and so we took the Double Luck Twins and said, let's name the vineyard after them. So that's why it's called the Double L Vineyard. And so that's where the name comes from. And, part of the, having the kids out there, we wanted to go organic because they were about 5 years old when we purchased it. And they run around out there every day. So we decided to kind of part of the organics is trying to keep everybody healthy, our kids and our workers and everybody. So.
Well, it's really delicious. Dan, I jumped the gun. I don't want you to backtrack, but I know you do 2 different Chardonnays, don't you?
Yeah, we do the Double L is the selection off our vineyard, and it's not a very big production. Our big production is the Highland Chardonnay, and in that blend is about half of it is from the Double L vineyard. The other half is from fruit from neighbors and friends down the street, all in the Salicia Highlands. It's a larger production, but it has a lot of the same flavor profiles as the Double L has. So, to me, probably the Highland Chardonnay is actually probably a touch better value when you compare flavor versus price.
Right. Well, we have that also. We have both of them in the store, but we were just like, well, we were going to have you here, and we said let's talk about your the vineyard that you all own. So it's totally delicious. It's like my father used to say, if you have a rich Chardonnay like this, if you were tasting it blindfold, you almost might think it's a red wine. It has that much kind of body and complexity to it.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
So,
All right, I'm just enjoying now.
yes. Like I said, it's Jamie's still tweaking the technical side, but
We've got our audience out here. Everybody wave. You can wave to the.
there you go.
Whoop, whoop. There you go. Whoa!
It's a little more sane in here than it has been on other combination tastings of virtual and in store. But so we're getting better all the time. But it's great to have you here.
2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yes. Absolutely.
Well, while we're at it, we're on the Chardonnay. I mean, the fruit is really the primary driver of quality. The quality of the fruit drives the quality of the wine. But with an item like this that has 30% new French oak barrels in it, those oak barrels are important too. And we really spend a lot of time with our barrel selections. We taste every year. We buy in our new barrels from different manufacturers, and we're very blessed in that we have the ability to buy as many Francois Frere barrels, who is a cooper based in Burgundy that makes all the barrels for Romani Conti, let's say. We get whatever we want of those barrels. We get them first before they sell them to other Californian wineries. So we're blessed with that. But on top of that, we have those barrels are great. We also they make up about 70% of our barrels, and the other 30% we pay a lot of attention to them. We're very, very rigorous because we've seen barrel manufacturers get better, and we've seen some that get worse. And if you're not on top of it, then you might get those worse ones, And the quality of our barrels, I mean, after the fruit, the barrel probably adds the most flavor to the wine. So we're very meticulous in those selections.
And how long does this spend in the barrel? Dan, you may have already said that, but I can say it again.
We use a fair amount of new oak, but it's in for less than a year.
Okay.
We have a philosophy that it gets good oak, and then we like to pull the wine out of barrels and get it in the bottle and kind of capture the oak and the freshness at the same time. We've had times where aging in barrels doesn't improve the wine. If anything, maybe it gets a little oxidized being in barrels too long. So we have a philosophy. It's like we have this really great throat, oak. Let's put it in. When it's tasting like what we really like it, let's pull it out and get it in the bottle and start that bottle process. And so it's a little bit different thought process than probably a lot of wineries in the world. But that's it has worked for us, and we like it, and we'll continue to do it.
So you said about 30% new oak, Dan, and then you have some neutral oak. I think that means slightly used.
Yeah, so with 30%, you have some once-used barrels, 1-year-old barrels, 2-year-old barrels, and a small amount of 3-year-old barrels, and then they're gone. They're sold to other wineries. So yeah, and we actually we used to think once-used barrels were kind of spent. With the new cleaning devices that steam clean the barrels, we found that now we have to take into account those 1-year-old barrels because they do still add some oak. And we were a few years ago, we kind of recognized that and said, hey, this tastes a little oakier than our style. And it's because these new cleaning devices were doing such a good job. We had to start accounting for our once-used barrels as well, because they still had some oak left in them, whereas in the past we used to think, oh, they're done, they're neutral.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is very good. Well, I think our team's going to start pouring the red wine. They're starting to pour the 2019 12 clones. So.
Yeah, good. Now 12 clones is like our Highland Chardonnay. It's our Saint Lucie Highland 100% Appellation wine, but it's a blend of our vineyard and neighboring vineyards down the street from us, and but it has all of the niceties of Saint Lucie Highlands Pinot Noir, which I describe as being kind of a berry-based fruitiness, a little bit of cola nut in there, a little bit of dried herbs, a little bit of leather, a little bit of cedar cigar box, kind of aromas, all in a nice melange of flavors that I think Pinot Noir lovers just really enjoy. So that's kind of how I describe the Saint Lucie Highlands Pinot style, and this very much falls into that camp.
Well, you mentioned that you use some of the neighbors' grapes. I was just wondering. I pulled up the map so we can kind of look. How far up the valley do you go? Is you're looking for grapes? Do you go way up, or is it mostly like kind of still close to the end where you are?
Yeah, we use a smattering, like one of our key places. I think you see the Garys. We use some Garys in there. Right next door, you see Tendre. There, Tendre is a big supplier of our other Pinots. We also have there's a ranch called Levens there. That's names at the top. We use that for Pinot Noir. Very good ranch. Rosellas. We use Rosellas. Buchanoghan. We use Buchanoghan in some 12 clones.
Book and Nugget.
So yeah, so a smattering, mostly kind of in the mid-range of the SLH. We're kind of at the north end a little bit. And most of our other vineyards that we use are kind of in the mid area.
There you go. I like that name, Book and Nugget. Is that a family name, or did they make that one up?
That's a good old Dutch name.
There you go.
The great growers. Yeah.
So we've got a question from the audience. How much of this is from your Double L vineyard? I guess that was their vineyards.
Yes. The blend is about 50-50.
Oh, really?
About 50% is from Double L.
There you go, 50-50. And I'll pull up I've got a picture of the vineyard, and it kind of shows the breakdown of all the clones in the when we do the Double L. I'll pull that one up, and that shows all the clones that are in the Double L vineyard.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have
Right. And so, Dan, why is this called 12 clones again? Is this just like a combination of different
Because
Pinot
there's 13 clones in it.
strains?
there's 13.
Missing one. Only missing one.
There's 13 now at Double L, but in the beginning there was 12.
I see.
And that's where the name comes from. You know, when we were planting, getting ready to plant the Double L, you know, we bought it, it was bare ground, so it was really nice. We kind of designed the vineyard from scratch without having to pull out an old vineyard, you know. And so, but at that point in time, all these Duchon clones were brand new on the scene. You know, they were just, there were some people that were growing in Oregon and then Carneros, and we were hearing about them, but down here in our region, it was brand new. Nobody had them. So I was hearing good things about, you know, all the different numbers, the 115, the 667, so on and so forth. And I wanted to do them all. And so, so I basically did as many as I could. And I just figured that, hey, these are supposed to be special, good, let's go for them. You know, most of them worked out great. There was some that weren't quite suited for our area, and we didn't eliminate them completely, but sometimes we had 2.5 acres of one that was not working as well, so we took 2 acres and grafted over to something that was working. So there was a little bit of fine tuning, but we started out with 12, added one more. Actually, we at one point in time we had added 2, and then one of them turned out to have a lot of virus in it, and we pulled it out. So we went from 12 to 14, and now we're at 13.
And what was planted here again, Dan, before you all planted Pinot? Something totally different agriculturally, or?
Row crops, alfalfa.
I see.
There you go.
Interesting. I believe that. I can totally believe that. Yeah. Well, this
you
is
go.
beautiful.
Easy to replant an
Yeah,
alfalfa
yeah.
field.
That wasn't hard to rip out, I guess.
It
you know.
wasn't,
No.
pear trees or something.
Yes, or some
No
orchard type of
crops.
setting. Yeah.
Well, this is, I mean,
That's right, Bill.
the nose on this is really good. I mean,
Yeah.
and especially for the price point. I'm looking at the price point at $27.99. Man, this is like drink every night Pinot Noir. Nothing. 95 points, 94 points. Wine enthusiast.
It's just beautiful, just really textbook Pinot Noir that, I know there's a lot of other angles available for Pinot drinkers today, but this is pure, I think, Pinot. It's savory and elegant all at the same time. It's just
This is on the buy now button.
Yeah, you know, Morgan, we have some hallmarks, and we're family owned and family operated. Both my daughters are now involved in the winery. My wife is the business person here and everything, but we're green, we're growing organically. We're dedicated to quality. We're dedicated to consistency, but one of our hallmarks is value. We like value, and we just don't want to overcharge for wine. We want everybody to enjoy it, hopefully every night.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that focus, and that's it's really nice. So this is produced. This has some double L in it. This has a good chunk of double L in it.
You're talking about the 12 clones still?
The 12
Yeah, I'm
clones,
sorry,
yeah.
the 12 clones. Yep,
Yeah, about 50% is double L.
that's amazing. And how big is double L? That's what I want. That's really what I wanted to ask you.
50 acres total.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 28 acres, more than half Pinot,
Yeah.
18 acres of Chardonnay, and then we have 1 acre of Riesling and 1 acre of Syrah as well.
Wow. Well, it's for Pinot purists, this is just really exceptional. I mean, it's translucent, which it should be, and it's just big bouquet though. I
Yeah.
think it's. I'm drinking it out of a white wine ladle, but
Big bouquet, big finish.
What's fun about the difference between Pinot drinkers and Cabernet drinkers is pretty dramatic. A Pinot drinker will pick up the glass, swirl it, smell it, swirl it, smell it, swirl it, smell it some more, smell it some more, and then finally take a step. Versus Cabernet drinker, they'll take a look at it and the bottoms up.
Wow. You are so right, Dan. I am using that on every Friday night here. Yes, that's an interesting analogy, but it's very, very accurate.
No.
Very, very
Yeah.
accurate.
Yeah. Question from the Facebook watchers.
Everybody wants to know where he's sitting. Is he in an airstream?
Oh, everybody wants to know where you're sitting. So this is a great question, because last time you were here, you told us about the Airstream that was sitting in the double
Yeah,
L. I don't know if you recall, but you invited me and my wife to come live on the vineyard. We'll talk about that later. But are you in the Airstream now?
I'm in my vineyard office, which is the Airstream trailer, and it's so nice because we night harvest here. So, I have a bedroom, I have a kitchen, I have a nice table here to work on. So it's a perfect vehicle for a vineyard office.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we've got some trailer. Whoa, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Got the sun's too bright right now.
Yeah, we've got some trailer RV people here in the
Yes.
room, and we're all plotting our routes to Santa Lucia.
And so, Dan, harvest is probably in progress right now.
We finished yesterday with some stragglers. We had a Syrah vineyard that took a while to ripen, and the Grenache vineyard that took a while to, we picked them yesterday, so we're officially done. But we really picked 90% of our fruit in the month of September. Where it's usually we pick 40% September, 60% October.
Huh.
So essentially, September was the big month this year, and other than a few scraggler vineyards that took a while, we've been done for 2 weeks. So.
And I know 21 is a bit smaller of a vintage than maybe the previous two.
Yeah. So we the best way to describe the harvest this year was concentrated.
Okay.
And it's a little bit like the old Wendy's commercials, like, where's the beef?
Yes.
We were going, where's the grapes? Light crop, and thus it ripened quickly. Had a mild summer, a little bit less fog than normal. So it was early, light, and fast. So it came and went really quickly.
Was it
Good.
warmer than normal? Was it, I know it doesn't get
Slightly
too
warmer.
warm, but
Yeah, just overall a little more mild, a little bit less fog during during June, July, and August, and then we had a kind of a traditional. We had the Labor Day heat spell that wasn't real bad, but it lasted over a week. But we were already had picked probably 30% of our fruit by then, maybe 40%. We were already gone when the heat spell happened. So we worked right through it, and it didn't really affect us very much. But very light crop, very low yields, good quality though, great quality, but not much. So we're starting already think it's like, ooh, allocations. We're already thinking of the consequences, which we don't enjoy doing.
so I'm here and join the club and buy now.
Yeah, the A word, the allocation word.
Put our futures order in.
But that I know,
And
Dan.
it's just
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
it's the second vintage short, So
Right.
so we had a fire in 20, so we didn't harvest a lot of reds in 20, and a short vintage 21, and now a short vintage, really short vintage in 22. So it's adding up.
Right, I remember talking to you in like late in the summer of 20, and you had some fires even that far south, and lots of different kind of challenges in today. But I think that I guess it's just the way Mother Nature is directing things these days.
Yeah.
These days. Well, we've our service team has poured out the. What do we have? We've got the double L, the 2019 double L Pinot Noir now. So now we're and boy, a big difference on the nose.
Yes.
Big difference on the nose.
We've had these open also, Dan, like an hour, hour and a half. We took the corks out of the bottles. So
Yeah.
Josie is like very focused on that. So first thing she does when she gets here is like corks out of the bottles. But you're right, totally different than the previous than the Highlands.
Totally different.
Yeah. So that there again, I think that's our selection. Like the Chardonnay, double L Chardonnay. It's a selection of our best lots. We're looking for probably a little bit more concentration and things like that. So that's the main difference, other than being 100% double L, not a blend of 7 or 8 different vineyards. It's 100% double L, but again, picking out the very best lots.
Yeah, I get kind of a it's kind of a meatiness to it, Bill, or kind of that it's just. Yeah, yes, and that also you can just tell it's just more concentrated. I think Dan probably is the flavor profile is different, but it's got a little more heft to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, vanilla and raspberry. I said that comment too. So yes, I'm getting all that.
Everybody's doing the Pinot drinker, as you said. Everybody's got their
Yes.
nose in the glass, and sniffing around.
Yeah.
Like they should.
Yes.
It's all about the aroma.
Yeah. So it's just you've got a different kind of finish to it. Also, I think the fruit was just a little bit easier to access on the 12 clones.
Yeah, I was thinking on the 12 cones, that's what I drink while I'm cooking.
Yeah.
And then this is what I drink with the meal once I've finished.
Yes, yeah. This is more serious. Yes, another question, David.
A little bit more serious,
What was the question? Question from the audience. What was that?
Say it again, Tracy.
Oh, the lantern moss. We've been getting a lot of the press coverage talking about the invasive moths hitting the East Coast. They've been hitting Maryland. Were they the lantern moths? Is that the? So maybe pests. How's Santa Lucia handling, kind of some of these classic wing sharpshooters, viruses,
that's
mold,
from another
funguses.
time.
I mean, what's fighting you out there in the vineyard?
Good question. Good question. If I went and stood outside right now, I'd be hit with about 30 mile an hour wind.
Oh, really? Gosh.
And it's like that. That's part of our terroir here. We're cool and we're also windy. And I tell you, all the bugs that try to come in the vineyard, they just get all blown down to house robles.
There you go.
We have no pest problem. But we don't. Yeah. So pests have never been a problem because of this wind, the cold and the wind. The bugs just don't like that. But mildew likes it. So mildew is our biggest.
Interesting.
The fungi is our biggest challenge.
Well, there you go. As I flip through some of these pictures, I mean, all of the pictures, you can definitely see that it's nice and open. Everything's moving. But then also you see the clouds. The clouds are ever present in all of these pictures, and they're low. Those are not high clouds.
Yeah, that's more fog than clouds.
Yeah.
And this is a picture that's just burning off one morning, and it'll be, on a really foggy day, it'll be drippy, dewy fog, and then it starts lifting and burning off, and eventually we'll have sunshine. But it's what we call refrigerated sunshine. I mean, the sun's out, but it's still cool. So it's not hot. So yeah.
And what time of the year would that picture be, Dan? Would you just guess? Is that like now, or is that
It's like February.
that's a winter
that
thing?
March.
It looks like in the very springtime, but
Okay.
probably June, May-ish. It looked like.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of these look like they were taken right at, just as shoots were coming out, maybe after bud break.
Yeah. So this is some early growth. We bud out in March, right around St. Patty's Day is when we traditionally are budding out,
Look at that.
and so this is early growth. You can see our cover crop is still there. We haven't mowed it, and in the cover crop, with the organic program, we plant vetches and peas that incorporate nitrogen from the atmosphere incorporated into their roots. So it's part of our nutritional process of the vineyard is these cover crops that fixate nitrogen, and so yeah.
As we're sipping on the double L, one of the things I'm going to pull back up the kind of the vineyard map and the clone map, because we did have a question to kind of like what percentage of the vineyard is Pinot. But one of the things that caught my attention was a couple of the clones that are in here. I see a Morgan LT, a Morgan RC. Coincidence or special selection?
Those are suitcase selections that were smuggled in, not by myself, by other people that I've gotten the cuttings from, and the RC is short for Romani Conti, and LT is short for Latache. So you can kind of get an idea what the original vineyard sources were, though we can't advertise it.
There you go. This is the Grand Cru. And I'm guessing you have like a bottle or two back in the lab of each of these clones, because I mean, when you're putting the blend together, my assumption is you harvest them separate, you vinify them separate, and then blend after.
Yes. So we bring them in different clonal lots, and then we ferment them separately. We barrel age them all separately, and then we analyze them to make the double L selections, and do those blends, and then everything else goes into either Highland Chardonnay or 12 Tones Pinot Noir. They're all good lots. We just want to keep them separate until we can make our final selection for the double L products.
There you go. We have some volunteers here to join your blend team. We've got some hands up in the audience. I don't know what that is.
Is that this or?
Here we're gonna while we talk, we can see you, but somebody's phone is trying to talk to our TV here. There we go. There we go.
And we do, if you're in our wine club and go over to the tasting room at Carmel, we do 2 or 3 selections of different clones every year for 50 cases for the tasting room and for the wine club and stuff. So we have those offered. We just can't. We just don't have enough of it to offer to the broad market.
There you go. I'm going to pop up the tasting room there, so if everybody is in the area, you can not only find you can find Dan in his Airstream there. If you swing by and you know where Double L is, it's kind of up there. And then, but if you want to get the tasting room experience, head down to Carmel. So
they won't let me know.
What was the question, Bob? I'm sorry. No, I don't.
Question about how many bottles do you guys make?
In a typical year.
Well,
bottle capacity.
Yeah, we kind of think in 12 bottle cases is how we kind of, most of us winery people talk to other wineries. We say, how big are you? I'm 20,000 or 30,000 cases or 5,000 cases, but they talk in these, a case of 12 bottles. So in those terms, we're about 30,000 cases total. So you just multiply that by 12 and you get the bottles.
30,000.
Yeah.
30,000.
Okay. 30,000 cases total kind of production for most years, which is not a lot. No, that's a lot of
It's not really in reality.
That's a family-size winery thing, yeah.
Family size, but big enough to, we do have national distribution, and we sell to, a handful of countries outside the U.S. as well. So it's big enough to be that.
I'm getting text messages from friends telling me that we need to plan our trip. So.
Does he have room for our RV?
Yeah. We have some friends that have a big RV. You're going to have a big battle going, I think.
That was.
So, Dan, we transitioned into your Côte de Croix, so we're in a different grape and probably maybe a little wider area that you source from.
Yeah, so our Rhone program is very healthy. It's it's not far behind Sauvignon Blanc in production now. So and it's basically 2 red blends make up most of the program. One is kind of Syrah heavy, and that's called the G17, and the other one's kind of Grenache heavy, and that's the Côte de Croix. So I think you guys are tasting the Croix today, and
we are.
So the Grenache will always be the lead grape there, and most of that Grenache comes from Arroyo Seco area. So we would have a tough time ripening Grenache. At the Double L here, it just needs a little bit more heat to ripen adequately. So Arroyo Seco, which is about 10 miles down the road, is perfect for it.
Well, it's got a great nose. It's got a, I don't know, fruity berry. I hate to say it's not a I don't know. It's very appealing. It's very enticing. It's very drink me now.
Yes.
But yet, I don't know. This is the Pinot drinker in me.
Right, right. Well,
Agonizing over
Grenache is, for me, was always a blending grape, and Spain's been able to do it all by itself, and very pretty bold examples. But this is really delicious, and so, but it needs a lot of heat, Dan, right? Because this grows all over the Mediterranean in the old world.
Yeah, it does well hot areas, and Arroyo Seco is cooler than hot, but it has enough heat, to ripen it adequately. And we always like to source from places that can barely ripen fruit, because we find that that's the best quality.
Interesting.
And that's Arroyo Seco fits in that for Grenache. It gets ripe, but it's not a hot area at all, and but we like that. And yeah, this is kind of our everyday, our pizza, burger wine, screw cap, take it to the beach, take it on a picnic kind of wine. A lot of flavor for, I think, a very good price, and that's kind of the purpose of this, we feel, in this wine. And as well as it's interesting, the third grape there is not a GSM but a GST with Tempranillo as the third grape, and the reason that is that there's not any, very little Mourvedre down here in Monterey County, and we'll finally have a source up in the Chalon area for Mourvedre.
Oh, really?
And that we're starting to use. So the blends going forward, you'll see the Mourvedre in the blend, and at some point in time, our Tempranillo vineyard it may get pulled out, so we may become a true GSM without Tempranillo, maybe next year or something.
Right.
Cinso.
There we have a question, David.
What is the ratio? Ratio is right up here: 62 Grenache, 29 Syrah, 5 Tempranillo, and 4 Cinso.
And Dan, where does the name come from? This proprietary name that's on the label.
Oh, it was we initially, when we started making this, we wanted to call it Crow's Hermitage, with the bird crows, and then Hermitage is kind of a fun name. And Hermitage is very much protected by the French, so BATF got back and said, forget about it, you can't use Hermitage. And so our second choice was Côte de Crows.
Okay.
And so that's where the name, and we thought, Côte de Crows is okay, maybe we'll think of something better, but this was, we haven't been able to come up with anything better. It's Côte de Crows.
There you go. They let the goats do Rome.
Yeah.
People
It's kind
get
of
away with it. So.
Yeah.
It's really delicious. It's just juicy, ripe for any. It's a grab bottle red for
I remember
for fine
again,
dining or not.
Last time you were on, it was August 2020. It was right in the smack middle of COVID, and everybody was drinking at home. We had people coming in and buying this by the 6-pack and the 12-pack. Because this was the one. This was the get me through the lockdown wine, I think.
Right, and Dan, it's very, very delicious, and it's very modestly priced. I just am like,
Oh yeah.
Great
disbelief
value.
of it,
Great value.
To I'm sure that might change in the future, but for now, it has a extra savoriness to it that it's a little more ruby than Pinot, but it's just very, very round and ripe, and you don't need to savor it sniff it as much as Pinot, but it's so it's somewhere in between, but really delicious. I don't think we had it with you before. I think we did the Syrah, actually, which is beautiful also. The
Last time?
I think we might have.
We did the Côte de Crow too.
Did we? Okay, but we've had the Syrah maybe on an event in between.
Yeah,
but
I think that was an extra bonus.
maybe so. But
Kelly from.
Yeah, maybe Kelly had
Pacific
brought
Southern
some.
got
But
us.
so we have the Syrah. I mean, we love it, and that's a a little bit different style. But this is very, very delicious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of fun because the Syrah is cool climate, the Grenache is a fairly cool climate. So it has more, it's a little more European rustic than jammy, where we just, there's no jam in this.
Right,
That's what I like about it.
Yeah, you're right. It's not quite like that.
Well,
So
I'm gonna-
Dan,
you're
I know you need to go. I'm sorry,
I
Jamie.
was
Go
going to
ahead.
say, you're going to have to send me some harvest pictures because I'm flipping through these, and Jonathan, all the pictures he sent me were all of March. I need some October pictures. So.
Yeah,
So so we'll get some of those going. And Dan, we have a little extra sip tonight, and we want you to talk about it. It's just for the folks that are here at the store. We have a little bit of the Tempranillo that you from Arroyo Seco that y'all do, and there's not enough to go around, but we were able to. Kelly was able to get us a couple of
Smuggle,
bottles.
yeah, talk about
Smuggle.
suitcase clones.
Smuggle,
This
yes,
was
yeah,
a-
talk about
This was a
so,
suitcase
anyway,
bottle. Kelly smuggled it in.
so we decided to have it at the end, but it's been great tasting with you. And so this is the 2020. I think you probably don't even have it out around the country even that much, but
Yeah, the Tempranillo.
yeah. So we're gonna have a little sip of Tempranillo 2020, and hopefully this will be something that'll maybe a little bit of it will get here and there in the future coming up. So tell me why Tempranillo grows there.
Well, we kind of not so much in the San Luis Highlands, but most of the rest of California is beautiful climate for Spanish grapes, and so this Tempranillo was grown down in Arroyo Seco, a little bit warmer here. We also do an Albarino.
Yes, we did that before.
And we just think for warmer areas of California, those grapes are excellent, but very few people are wanting to make them. They still want to, they stick with the Pinots and Cabs and traditional things, but there's a big future for them. We love them, and so we make a little bit of it. There's not a big market for it, but the Albarino part is growing nicely. So we're doing more Albarino now than we used to, and Tempranillo is limited because we only have one vineyard, and that's it. We get 4 to 5 tons, and that's it for the whole year. So we're a little bit strapped that way until we find another vineyard that's good.
So 4 to 5 tons. How many barrels is that?
Yeah, that's not a lot, I don't think. I mean,
That's 250 cases or something
Yeah.
like that. So it's just not a lot. Yeah.
250 cases.
Yeah, and then some of that goes into the Rhone blends.
Right.
So we end up only bottling about maybe 100 cases of, Tempranillo by itself. So it's a very small item for us.
So I guess Tempranillo and Albarino, those are Spanish and Mediterranean grapes. So I guess the climate in Monterey is somewhat, maybe there's some parallels there.
Or down in.
Or,
Yeah, so Monterey being it's a big county, and starting with you can't grow grapes until you hit the San Luis Highlands finally warm enough, but the county still goes for another 80 miles south of us. It almost goes to Paso Robles. So in a typical day, you could be 65 at the coast, and down at Paso Robles at the south end of Monterey County, it could be 105 degrees.
yeah, that's a big.
So there's that whole spread of temperatures, and
There you
Yeah,
go.
I think the Mediterranean is a little more, a middle ground, consistently. So,
yeah.
Well, Dan, this has got a lot of color to it.
Bright
a lot
berry.
Of,
This
yeah,
is not
yeah.
Italian.
No, not,
This is not Spanish.
not Iberian.
Not Spanish. Yeah, it's not Spanish.
Yeah, we don't use American oaks.
Yeah, maybe there you go.
Between us and Spain, yeah.
That means it's not available, and that means it's priceless.
There you go.
Bob, is what it is.
We've got people asking.
Priceless. Call the winery, and you can get some bottles of this. is
There
what
you
it
go. Visit.
is. Yeah, visit. Go to the winery. We just had it. We had it as a lark, and it's a real treat. We don't sell it. No, we do not sell this.
There you go. Stop by the tasting room.
Well-
I can see a 6-pack right there.
Yeah, I think so. So, Bill had a question. that, you know, these overall, this one excluded because this is not available. Hopefully, you know, Dan, your wines are beautifully priced and delicious, and so yes, I think they're looking to keep them in this range for the foreseeable future, barring Mother Nature not, you know, being kind. But yes, so I don't know. You know, you go to the winery and look this up. I don't know if it's I don't know what the price point is. It
There
doesn't
you
make
go.
any difference. It's just
There you go.
so this is an old world varietal grown in the new world, and so it's really more ruby than I thought it was going to be. I expected something a little more lean and rusty. and
It's
not.
interesting because the the Tempranillo is one of those grapes that you don't get a global expression really, and so you can taste Sauvignon Blanc from around the world, Chardonnay
Yes.
from around the world, Cabernet from around the world. You don't taste a lot of Tempranillo except
Right.
Rioja.
And it's really new. It's 2020 vintage for a red. So you all probably just released it a little bit, or
Question
Yeah,
question from the audience.
It sells.
yeah, I bet it does.
Wait,
If it's Tempranillo and most of it's grown in dry, hot climates,
yeah.
is 10 miles south of where your vineyards are dry, hot climate?
It's dry and warm, not hot.
Dry and warm.
Dry and warm. That's what the Mediterranean is.
So the dry,
Not hot.
So there's not the fog that you have that we saw in the earlier pictures.
Yes, maybe occasional fog, but most of the time out of the fog zone.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Sorry, our audience cam seems to have frozen up. So.
Yeah, it did.
What's that? You're so handsome. Our handsome guest
he's the
broke
reason.
the camera.
very, very nice. Wow. What a treat's been to talk to you tonight, Dan. Thanks very, very much.
Yeah, Dan, everybody.
Thank you.
Everybody.
We'll see you down the road.
Yeah.
If we come visit, can we stay
Yeah.
in the trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody wants to stay in the trailer. I will explain to them that only I get to stay in the trailer.
You'll help with the neighbors.
There you go. We've got volunteers for labor if you need pickers.
So it's been a real treat to.
It's a 28-foot globe trot for those
Well, we appreciate it. We're losing control of the audience.
Yes, Dan. I know you got to go to work, so yeah.
There we go.
Thank you very, very much. Maybe we'll see you in the spring. Like
Thank you.
you may see some of us earlier than you want.
Yeah, there you go.
Mike, we'll see you in the
we may be
spring.
down there.
Maybe to do another one of these.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll get out. I'll get out. and
There we
visit
go.
one of these
Good night,
days.
Dan. Thanks.
Good night.
But I got the plane price.
Yes,
so.
thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye now.
All right. Bye bye.
Cheers.
Thanks for sticking with us and getting the.
So there we go.
Thanks, Jamie.
All right, we're going to, for those of you online, we appreciate you joining us. As always, like and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll try to do more virtuals here coming up. But we're going to wrap it up and keep the party going here. Hopefully the party's going on safely at your house. We appreciate it.
Kelly, thank you very much.